Hello, Happy New Year. It's 2026. I'm so excited. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. My name is CF Claire. I'm in the process of working on Project Goblin, which is my Fae Dragon romance novel. And it's the first book in an interconnected standalone series that is fantasy flavored sci fi. The comp series is Cressley Cole's Immortals After Dark. And my goals all have to do with books in those series. If this is your first video of me, hello, welcome. I am hoping to do sort of a rapid release publishing schedule of my first series, which is going to be a 5-book standalone interconnected series that I was just talking about. Hopefully, beginning to release May-ish of 2028. The idea is to have all 5 of the books written and essentially ready to publish before publishing even the first one so that I can take advantage of that rapid release timeline of around 3 months between each book. And I don't want any pressure. I don't want to be in the writing stage for any of them. So that's the motivation behind this. And I also am just someone who likes to do a lot of drafts, and I like to have a lot of time between each draft. So it just feels like it's going to work out really well to have all of these projects that I can take so many breaks from as I'm working on other drafts of each project. So it's a little crazy. We'll see. I'm hopeful. I'm gonna do everything I can to make it happen. I love these books. I'm super excited about them. So, but anyways, that's kind of the context. So let's talk about the first quarter though. Let's slow down. The first quarter of 2026, what the plans are. And then we'll move into, okay, the big picture of 2026 as a whole. I like to use Sara Cannon's planning method, the HB90 system, where you take 3 months at a time. So you work by quarter of the year and you have up to 3 main goals. And I like to break that down into a good, better, best system for goal setting. Her planning system relies pretty heavily on using task blocks as time tracking to figure out how much time it usually takes you to accomplish certain writing tasks or whatever you're doing. And I find that works really, really well for me. So one time block is essentially one Pomodoro, which is 25 minutes of focused time. So that's what I mean when I talk about time block. So I'm going to pop on the screen my first goal to write the first draft of Project Goblin, which is the first book in that series that I was talking about, in either 5 weeks or 160 task blocks, 4 weeks or 150 task blocks, or 3 weeks or 140 task blocks. And the reason that I have an either between like the time amount of weeks and the time amount of task blocks is that I would love to do some writing challenges, like try to write 6 chapters in a day or 10K 10K day, whatever it is. I'd like to throw in some of those challenges. So I'm going to try some of those out and see how that goes. Right now, that project, I'm almost done with a 0 draft of it. So it's so exciting. Oh my gosh, I love this book. It's going to be so fun to do. So that's my main priority. My second goal, I already have a first draft outline of this project, Project Demons, the second book in this series that I'm talking about. I have a first draft of it where I have what I think the main events of the story are, happen in each chapter. So the second draft of this would be going through it and making any changes to those events that I want to do and fleshing out anything that I like. If I hadn't got into the world building, fleshing that out, any history of the characters, fleshing that out. So there's a lot of questions still that I need to find answers for that would be part of this second draft of the outline, but I have the main shape of it already. And so I'm hoping to do that in 60, 55, or 50 task blocks, which would essentially be like around 2 weeks of anticipated amount of time I would have to work on things. So as I say it out loud, that does seem short. So it's okay if I don't achieve this. It's a B goal, right? Like that's fine. If I did achieve it though, I do have a third goal, which would be it's like my flex goal, right? So it's fine if it doesn't happen. But that would be to complete a first draft outline of the third book in that series, which is Project Shifter. And I in a perfect world, I would be able to do that in 2 weeks or 60 task blocks, 1.5 weeks or 45 task blocks, or 1 week or 30 task blocks. And it's kind of hard to say. There are some questions about what I want to do with this that I'm not sure about, where book two had come together quite fast because I did have a pretty good idea of it. So it is entirely possible to achieve that third goal. I think when I did the first draft outline of Project Demon, it took like 4 days. It was pretty silly how little amount of time it took to do as much as I did because I just like knew what I wanted to do with it. So we'll see, right? We'll see. So that's it for my what I'm going to get into for HB 90, I think. But before we move on to the yearly goal, there are a couple pages that I created for myself that I'm putting into my HB 90 planner. So I'll just share on the screen what those are because I had a lot of fun with those. I've been watching a lot of videos by Maria from AllWriteWell, the YouTube channel AllWriteWell, and I'll link in the description. She has a video where she's talking about being really clear on what your why is when it comes to writing, because there's a really big difference between motivation and dedication. And she talks a lot about kind of being clear with yourself about what level or like what category you consider yourself in as a writer, whether you're doing it as a hobby and you don't really feel like you need to have goals because it's a hobby for fun, relaxing, or whether it's a job or whether it's a career that you plan to be in for a long time. And I plan to be in it for a long time. I would consider it my career path. And so I'm really trying to invest a lot in building up discipline and learning what is enjoyable for me so that every part of the writing can be fun, because there are some parts that are harder. uh, Harder than others. And so I'm really trying to focus on what makes those parts fun, or how to pick apart why they're difficult so that I can kind of try a different method of approaching that. So all this to say, I made a page about what my why is specifically for every time I sit down to work on a project. And I feel really good about that. I do like having it written down. So that's really nice. It's my first page in my journal when I open it up. So I have that page. I also had started making little bingo cards for each month last quarter, and I really, really liked that. So I'll just put on the screen my little January, February, March bingo cards. I like this mix of things that will just inevitably happen, like my husband's birthday. Um, that's going to happen. We're going to mark that off the bingo sheet. But then just some other things that would be fun to do during the month if life doesn't get crazy, you know? And then I was putting little stickers on each one we did. And so then it was nice looking back over the fall and being like, wow, look at all the stickers. Hey, I remember when we did that. And that just really helps me because I've got like goldfish brain, and I'll just forget if we did anything during a season. I'll be like, oops, there went the summer. That's too bad. So this was really nice. I'm going to keep doing this. And then these are funny. So I have a Kanban board, which is extremely motivating and satisfying to just be able to take the task I'm working on and then after I complete it, just like move it down and physically see the progress. And you would think that doing kind of the same thing twice would be less satisfying. It's not. I still like it. So so I made this sheet. I've been filling it in. This is my draft 0 sheet for Project Goblin. So each chapter after I write it, I've been coloring in the little hexagon thing. It's so satisfying. Oh my gosh. So I'm gonna keep doing that. And you can see underneath, this is my like ideal format. I have 5 writing days a week, typically, if there's not funny life stuff happening. So this is sort of like the ideal format that I would be accomplishing things in. That like day 1 is summarizing the sequence or the section that I'm about to start working on and making any notes on the overall large scale thing. And then on the second day of the week, I'd be doing 3 chapters. The third day, I'd be doing 3 chapters. Fourth day, I'd be doing 2 chapters. And then the fifth day, I'd either be doing 2 chapters or I'd be summarizing the next sequence, depending on how many chapters are in each sequence. So, anyways, long story short, that's what that's about. It's a lot of fun, and I have a different version for first draft. And then this sheet, okay, so this is my tarot card sheet. There's this 3-card daily spread that I really like, and I'll put that on the screen too. I like the Toth tarot card deck, so I really like this book. The spread is in this book. And I really wanted a way to track the cards that I pull every day and just kind of see if there are any cards that come up very frequently. And I really use it as a way of kind of processing things going on in my brain. And I find it really relaxes me and helps me figure out why I'm being anxious or something. So I've been really enjoying that. I did that not every day last year, but probably at least half the year. And then on the back of it, this is a different spread that I really liked, where at the beginning of the week, you just kind of write very briefly what's the main focus of that week that you would like to be focused on. So then you pull two cards, the first card representing what you can control, and the second card representing what you must leave to fate. And I got that spread from one of my mom's tarot card decks. It was like a flower card deck. I don't know, but I really liked it. And that's been really fun for me. So I've been doing that at the beginning of every week too. So I think that's all as far as my like HB90 quarter planning. So let's talk 2026, the year. I have them broken down into the three priorities. So like the main priority of the year would be getting Project Goblin ready to be sent to beta readers. I don't have any beta readers, and I'm not trying to like find beta readers before, during December of 2026. But as long as I have the draft ready, and then the next stage would be okay, find people who would be willing to beta read for me, then that to me would be like hitting it out of the park. That's great. My second priority would be hopefully getting Project Demon to a first draft. And like I said, I do heavily outline. I am hoping to not feel like I need to zero draft Project Demon, but I'll see, I'll feel it out, When it comes to that time, we will find out together how that goes. And then my third priority is to just get at least the first draft of an outline for the other three books in the series. There is an overarching story plot to that first series. And so I do just want to have a clear idea of how I want each of the books in the series to go before the end of the year. I would love that because I really want to get clear on how much of that storyline I want to put in each book. So in an ideal situation, I would love to do just like an outline-a-thon a palooza where I take a week or two or three and I just like really I just do all those first draft outlines. And I know a lot of stuff that I want to happen in each of the books, but there's so much missing that that would be it would be an achievement to do. And I think that would be really fun. We'll see how that fits in. My word of the year is invigorating. Last year, my word was proud. I wanted to feel proud of where I was with my writing and what I had accomplished, and I really did. I last year was like so good for writing, and I really feel like I put in a lot of work and time, and it really paid off, and I'm feeling it. And this year, what I really want to focus on, not just with writing, but with life overall, is kind of tuning into what makes me feel invigorated and parts of my life that come up that kind of feel like they're draining me, taking a time out and looking at what that thing is and seeing, is this something that I need in my life? Is there another way I can approach it that would not be so draining? That sort of thing. And what comes to mind immediately is uh, one of my most beloved hobbies is gardening, but gardening can be very overwhelming, very draining. And I don't want it to be like that. And I feel like last year I did find a way to pull back quite a lot from things about it that have felt like too much. And I want to just keep addressing that and really paring down the things that I'm doing so I can enjoy those things that I'm doing so much more without it feeling like it's everything. So invigorating. And as well, when it comes to writing, just really paying attention to what are the things I enjoy the most about writing, what kinds of tools do I use that help me feel invigorated? All of that good stuff. I'd love to feel invigorated. Sounds great. And then just a couple other aspirations, really. I wouldn't call them goals. I do like to keep my goals really only writing based, and then anything else is just like a desire that I'm planning to act upon. I really liked the amount of craft books that I read last year, but I think I would like to read even more this year. I think I read like 5 to 6, but I really liked doing that and I got so much out of them. So I want to just keep that up, and these are the 5 books that I'm the most excited to try reading. I've got some other books on the list, but like these are the top 5. And then just some other random aspirations. I would love to do a 3-day 30K writing challenge. I'll link in the description to AK Mulford's writing channel, where I think every quarter they have a 3-day 30K scheduled, and there's a Discord channel and it looks like a lot of fun. So it doesn't really matter to me which one I do during the year, but I would just love to participate in whatever way. It looks so fun. I'd also like to walk an average of 15 miles a week. My husband got me a treadmill because I asked him to. Because I wanted one, and he figured out how to make that happen. So I've been really, really liking using the standing desk and walking while writing. And I think I've been averaging about 8 to 10 miles per week, which is fantastic because I am coming from being a stay home mom of young kids. And my youngest is now finally, my youngest is now in school. They're 5 and 7. And so it's just a lot easier, a lot easier to actually put time into exercising. So I'm really, really liking that. But I would like to walk more. I can feel how good it is for me. I'd also like to do that 1 week outline-a-thon and do like books 3 to 5. I put 1 week. Wow, that's very optimistic. I'd also like to beta read for someone and or find a critique partner. I would love that. I don't know how to go about doing that, and I'm kind of like shy. So I don't know, but so that's just an aspiration. We'll see how things go. I would also really like to eat less bread and pasta. That's just kind of like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it's very good for me. My body does not want me to do that. That's for sure. So I'd like to do that less. I'd love to upload a YouTube video weekly, but YouTube is definitely a hobby, a true hobby. I love making videos, but it does take time. It'd be fun. I'd love that. I also used to really record a lot of music, and I got away from that when I had my kids. But I've been thinking about it more and more, and I'd really, really like to get back into that. So if I was able to do like roughly a song a month, that would be fun. I'm not trying to like put it out anywhere, but just like for me, it would be creatively fulfilling. And I'd also like to, yeah, read 12 craft books, about one a month. That'd be super fun. Love to declutter the house. And then I would also like to fast from around 6 p.m. to 8:30 a.m. a majority of the days. I know there's some study that has whatever sort of research they did that showed that fasting for at least 14 hours dramatically was really, really good for you as a person. And I've done intermittent fasting for periods of time, and it was really, really good for me. And I stopped for a couple reasons, but I'd like to dip my toes back into it. It just seems like a good health thing to do. So those are kind of my aspirations, my goals. I'm really excited about 2026. I feel great. I am so excited about the projects that I'm going to be working on, and I'm just excited. I'm excited to get on with it. So I hope that your 2025 was great. I hope you're excited for 2026 too. Happy New Year. Happy writing. I'll see you in the next video.